What a game we have Monday night. It's the world champion Philadelphia Eagles coming off a bye at 6-2, heading into Lambeau Field. What better place for a football game to see the 5-2-1 Green Bay Packers coming off a very disappointing loss. This has it all. Prime time, Monday Night Football. Let's go. Okay, this Top of Mind is brought to you by Chevrolet. Football season is in full swing, and whether you're grinding through the week or gearing up for kickoff, there's one ride that's always game ready, the Chevy Silverado. Built for the hustle, ready for the game. Silverado is America's most dependable full-size truck. Head to Chevy.com to learn more and build your own Chevy Silverado. Okay, this Top of Mind, there's a lot going on in this game. The defending world champions, Philadelphia, coming off a bye. And remember, the Eagles had 2 consecutive losses earlier this year. They lost a 14-point lead at home to the Denver Broncos. Then they got destroyed by the New York Giants on Thursday night. Everybody's up in arms, but head coach Nick Sirianni put the wheels back on. Philadelphia had very impressive wins at Minnesota, and they crushed the New York Giants 38-20. They're coming off a bye. They're energized. They made some trades we'll get into in a second, but they're in Green Bay to play the Packers at 5-2-1, who are coming off a very disappointing loss. A lot of people think it was the biggest upset since 1970. How many teams lose at home as a 13.5-point favorite? So the Packers probably are not real happy right now. They got a lot to prove. They also lost their superstar tight end, Tucker Kraft. Kraft was on his way to an 1,100-yard season, a historic campaign for Packer tight ends. Not only did they lose an excellent player, they lost one of their team leaders, a real big-time Green Bay Packer. So there's a lot of emotions in this game on their side for sure. Head coach Matt LaFleur of the Green Bay Packers, excellent offensive coach. I got a feeling he got out the red-hot poker this week on the practice field. Not real happy with their red zone offense and their defense's performance against the Carolina Panthers. And remember, the Green Bay Packers, they're the organization that proposed the end of the tush-push. They went to the league meeting in the offseason. Packers wanted to abolish the tush-push that the Eagles have made famous. Well, nobody went for it, so the tush-push is still here. And Nick Sirianni, I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to put a fork in the Green Bay Packers, man, with that tush-push. He's probably a little pissed off that they tried to abolish that play, but who knows? But Nick Sirianni, what a job he has done as head coach of the Eagles. I also looked into him when he has a little extra time to prepare. You know, you play a Thursday game, you get a couple extra days, you play the next Sunday. He is 11-1 as a head football coach with a little extra time to prepare, and that's going to come in handy as they get ready to play the Packers. Philadelphia is getting healthy. I believe Nolan Smith, their excellent pass rusher, he's been gone since week 3, is coming back. Brandon Graham, veteran player who they re-signed recently, looks like he's ready to go. Adoree Jackson, cornerback who's missed time, looks like he's on the practice field ready to go. And they also went out and added a bunch of players in trades. They got Jair Alexander, the ex-Green Bay Packer from the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know what that means. He was a healthy scratch 5 straight weeks for the Ravens. They went out and got Michael Carter, nickelback, safety, cornerback from the Jets. He'll add some depth and some competition. And then they went to Miami and they got Jalen Phillips, outside linebacker who played for Vic Fangio in Miami when Fangio was there. He could really give them a jolt as an outside pass rusher. But it'll be interesting to see the mood of these Philadelphia Eagles. A.J. Brown returns. He had a hamstring. He didn't play against the Giants. The Eagles have added players. They've got some players coming back, and that's going to be a good thing for them, I do believe. I think the Green Bay Packers have to make some tough decisions now with the injury to Tucker Kraft. You know, the Packers were playing 2 tight end sets, 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends, quite a bit, almost 45% of their offense. They also have a lot of injuries at wide receiver. We know Jaden Reed is still out. Dontavius Wicks didn't play last week. Hell, Matthew Golden got hurt. You go down the list. Savion Williams, he didn't practice this week. He missed some time. I even heard Malik Heath is on the injury list. So what personnel do you use? Are you going to get back to 12 personnel and use Luke Musgrave? And you're going to lean on a new tight end, John Fitzpatrick? Or do you go 11 personnel, but which receivers are healthy? So that's going to be a difficult chore for Matt LaFleur and this Green Bay Packer offense. I know this, Green Bay, I expect them to come out with a state of rage. I thought Carolina got more physical than Green Bay. Rico Dowdle came into Lambeau and slammed it at him 25 times for 130 yards. And on that Savion Williams fumble in the red zone, I remember Nick Scott. He got a hold of Dobbs, got rid of him. Here comes Ashawn Robinson out of the stack. Kaboom! They knocked Green Bay around. And I think the Packers are going to respond indeed against the defending world champions. I can't wait for this. The Packers have won 6 straight home games on Monday Night Football. And since Matt LaFleur has been here, they have a plus 79-point differential at home on Monday Night Football, so keep that in mind if you're going to do something with this game. Philadelphia has beaten Green Bay 3 straight times, and Jordan Love is 0-2 against the Philadelphia Eagles. The last matchup was in the playoffs last year, the wild card game. Philadelphia and Green Bay matched up in Philly, and the Eagles from the opening kickoff, kaboom! Big hit, forced fumble. They took down Green Bay 22-10. That play on the opening kickoff, I think, set a tone for the entire game. Jalen Hurts threw 2 touchdown passes, and if you remember, Dallas Goedert caught a pass. I think he had 3 stiff arms on his way to the end zone, and that was a butt-kicking 22-10. They also opened up the season last year in a foreign land. I can't remember if it was Brazil or London or wherever, but that game was 34-29 Eagles. If you recall, Jordan Love got hurt his knee in that game very late in the ball game. Bottom line is, Philly swept them last year, and the Eagles ended the Packers season. So that adds a little bit of momentum in this Monday night clash. 2 young quarterbacks that are having their best seasons statistically. You know, Jalen Hurts got his start with the Philadelphia Eagles in Lambeau Field a couple years ago. It was December 6, 2020, the COVID year. Carson Wentz was struggling. They put in Jalen Hurts. He was wearing number 2. He had his left foot back in the shotgun. Hell, they lost the game, but now he's got his right foot back. He's wearing number 1. He's got a 3-game winning streak against the Packers. And Jalen Hurts, no matter what you say, is arguably having his best season ever. 15 touchdown passes and 1 interception. That's the best touchdown to interception ratio in the league. He's 4th in the league with a 114 QBR. He's 6th in the league with 70% completions, and he's 8th in the league yards per pass. He's having a great year. He's 2nd in the league with 5 rushing touchdowns, and he's taking care of the ball. That's a significant accomplishment in pro football. Jordan Love, on the other hand, he's having a career year. 13 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions. He's averaging almost 260 yards a game, 8.9 yards a pass. That's excellent. And Jordan Love, I love this about him. He's a primetime player, man. This guy has 23 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions in 11 starts all time in primetime. This year, he's been in primetime 3 times. He just shredded the Steelers. He had 20 completions in a row, for crying out loud. 134 QB rating. He's had ratings of 114 and 118. So clearly, both quarterbacks having excellent years. Both of them excel in primetime affairs. The turnover ratio, I think, is going to be big. Zero in on this. The Philadelphia Eagles right now are +4. They've taken it away 7 times. They've turned it over 3 times. +4 puts you 8th in the league. Green Bay has taken it away just 5 times. They've turned it over 5 times. They're at 0, tied for 14th. But here's the kicker. In 2024, last year, Green Bay took the ball away 33 times. That's 4th in the league. This year, they've only taken it away 5 times. That's been the Achilles heel, if you ask me, of this defense. They just haven't been able to take the ball away. Philadelphia took it away 26 times last year, and right now they've only got 7. So that's 26th in the league. So I look for both defenses to try to get some strips. They got to get the ball back for these offenses, and it's been hard to do for both sides this year. The game also features two of the best running backs in all of football. Saquon Barkley of the Philadelphia Eagles, Josh Jacobs of the Packers. Saquon's coming off his very first 100-yard game, believe it or not, this year. He shredded the Giants 150 yards, 65-yard breakaway touchdown on the second play of the game. Numbers are way down this year, but last week could have been a wake-up call for this Philadelphia Eagle running game. Remember, Barkley went over 2,000 last year. Right now, Saquon is sitting at 519 yards, a 4.1 average. He's only had 14 runs of over 10 yards or more, but hopefully last week got this party started. Josh Jacobs of the Packers, he had 1,329 yards last year, 15 touchdowns. Right now, 3.8 yards per carry. He has 10 touchdowns, which leads the NFL on the ground. He has 534 yards. He's been beat up a little bit. He is the workhorse. He scored a touchdown in 8 straight games in Lambeau Field. That's a franchise record. Since the start of the 2024 season, Josh Jacobs has 25 touchdowns. That leads the NFL. And don't forget, Micah Parsons is here in this game. And he's here to renew his rivalry with these two Philadelphia Eagle great offensive tackles. Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson, they saw Parsons twice a year. And Micah Parsons, if he gets 1 sack, he joins an exclusive club. Very few guys have had 60 sacks in their first 5 years. J.J. Watt, T.J. Watt, Derek Thomas, DeMarcus Ware, Reggie White. He's looking to be one of very few that can accomplish a great thing like that. Finally, let's look at the kickers. Both kickers struggling a little bit. Jake Elliott of the Eagles started off 7 for 7. We know he's a premier clutch playoff kicker, but he's missed his last 2 kicks. He missed a 58-yarder against the Giants, and he missed a 42-yarder in Minnesota. He's only kicked 9 field goals. The Eagles have been that good in the red zone, but he is 7 for 9. The Green Bay Packers, they've used 2 kickers this year. Brandon McManus had a great year last year, got off to a good start and got hurt. They turned it over to Lucas Havrasik, and he went 4 for 4. Well, when McManus got healthy, he returned to the lineup. He missed a 43-yarder last week against Carolina. He's only 11 out of 16 this year. Could there be a kicking change? The Packers still have 2 kickers on their active roster. Not many teams do that, but I would think if McManus doesn't start putting it through the goalpost, there could be a change. And the injury list for Green Bay, the 2 big names are Nate Hobbs, starting corner. He's out of this game. He hurt his knee last week against the Panthers. And Lucas Van Ness is also out again with the foot problem. We got to keep an eye on Banks, Aaron Banks, the left guard of the Packers. He left last week's game with the stinger on the 8th or 9th play. Not sure if he's going to return to the lineup either. And for the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't believe Cam Jurgens, their starting center, is going to play. Did not see him on the practice field, but you never know. He is one tough guy. Toth, number 64, played center last week, did quite a job. A.J. Brown, as we said earlier, looks like he's going to be back. He was full go on the practice field, did not play with a hamstring last week. And Adoree Jackson, who started the season at right corner for the Eagles, looks like he's back too. What will the Eagles do at corner? We'll find out. Okay, this Green Bay Packer offense against the Philadelphia Eagle defense, it's good on good. Should be excellent. Matt LaFleur will call the plays against Vic Fangio. That itself is worth the price of admission for me. But the Packers, they got to get it going, man, early in the game. Slow starts. Just 19 points in the last 3 games in the first half. Think about that. Only 19 points in the first half in the last 3 games. So you go into the locker room, you're like, what the hell are we doing? They got to get going early. Strike fast. Now, what are they going to do? Are they going to be a 12 personnel team without Tucker Kraft? That's a big, big loss for this team. If they are, it'll be Luke Musgrave. You got to get to know him. He becomes a primary target in the pass offense. If they try to keep things the same, he becomes a critical every down blocker. Musgrave was drafted in the same draft, 2023, that Tucker Kraft was. And Musgrave was drafted ahead of Kraft. He does have speed. He really has some receiving skills. Let's see what you got, Luke. And also John Fitzpatrick, he moves up on the depth chart. Fitzpatrick wears number 86. He's only got 4 catches for 40 yards. He's a good inline blocker. The Packers also activated a new tight end, Josh Wiley. Josh Wiley was on the practice squad, but he does have a lot of NFL experience. He caught 32 passes for the Tennessee Titans in 2023. Don't lose sight of that name, Wiley, Fitzpatrick, and Musgrave. Those 3 guys got to step up if they want to continue to use 12 personnel. Now, if LaFleur wants to use 11 personnel, I just want to ask you, who are the receivers going to be? Christian Watson is back. Their big play down the field receiver, played 36 snaps against the Steelers, played 43 snaps against Carolina. He'll be one of them. And the most reliable Packer receiver is Romeo Doubs. He leads them in receptions. So there's 2 of them. We don't know what's going on with Matthew Golden. He's injured, came out of the game in the 3rd quarter last week against the Panthers. He wears number 0. He has 0 touchdowns. Let's go, man. We keep waiting for the arrival of this cat. 1st round pick, the first receiver drafted by the Packers in the 1st round since 2002, Javon Walker. They got to get this guy going, but I don't know if he's healthy enough to play. Dontavius Wicks, will he play? He's been out with a calf. We got to get him on the field, man. He's been hurt since training camp. Savion Williams, 3rd round draft choice out of TCU. He got rocked last week on a quick screen. Not sure he's going to play. He fumbled the ball. He was in the medical tent. And Malik Heath, he played a lot of snaps last week, 27 snaps. Maybe it's his turn to step in. But some of these young receivers, they're already missing Jaden Reed. Hell's bells, I used to coach the receivers at Green Bay. I don't know what I'd do if they were all in the training room together like this. The Packers really struggled last week in the red zone. They were down there 5 times against the Carolina Panthers, got 1 touchdown. You look back on it, Savion Williams fumbled the quick screen. The next time they kick a field goal, they got 2 false starts, and then they take a sack. Then they go down there, they kick another field goal, they take 2 holding calls, and then they get held on downs. Hell's bells, they're starting slow, and they aren't finishing drives in the red zone, and I'm sure that doesn't sit well with Matt LaFleur. He's a great offensive coach, and the standards of offense in Green Bay are extremely high. The big thing they got to do, I think, they got to get this running game going. They got to lean on their best player now, and it's clearly Josh Jacobs. And I know he's only averaging 3.8, but they got to get him some better looks. Too many negative yardage runs. They're not running the ball against these soft boxes, 6-man looks. They got to get this guy some better looks so they can take this running game to another level. I wouldn't even be surprised if Coach LaFleur uses an extra offensive lineman at tight end to get after these Philadelphia Eagles and try to feature Jacobs so he can get some better looks in a running game. Protecting Jordan Love is critical. Packers have done a nice job this year. They've only given up 11 sacks, which is one of the best accomplishments of any offensive line in the NFL. But I'll say this, when you look at Love's statistics and just watch him play when he has a clean pocket, I mean, amazing is a good word. He can dazzle you with accuracy, tight window bullets, off-platform throws. The guy's incredible throwing the ball. When he has a clean pocket, it's over 82% complete. It's almost automatic. But when you put him under pressure, and I'm talking legitimate pressure, not just some bullshit, oh, he got a little pressure. I'm talking about get in his face, knock him off the spot. His completion percentage goes down to 43%. That's the 4th worst in the NFL. His yards per attempt go down to 4.8. That's the 2nd lowest. And his QBR is 56.8 when he's under pressure. So the Philadelphia Eagles went out and got Jalen Phillips. They signed Brandon Graham to come back. They're doing cartwheels because Nolan Smith is back. The Eagles got to rev up their rush. And if they can get pressure, it'll lead to some turnovers, which obviously they're lacking. We've already said that. Love is a streaky passer, man. If he gets hot, he can kill you. He did that to the Steelers. His old mentor, Aaron Rodgers, is standing over there watching him complete 20 passes in a row, man. So putting pressure on him is big. The Packers love to throw the deep ball. My old boss, Al Davis, would have loved this offense. They love to throw it deep. Matt LaFleur has always been one of the best deep ball designers. And they are committed to throwing it deep. Last week, Love got in trouble because he's chasing the big play. He threw an interception late down the middle. You got to check the ball down. Some of these plays are touchdown, check downs, but the Packers love the deep ball. And with Christian Watson back, that could be a real bonus against this Philadelphia Eagle defense. Remember, the Eagles are struggling at corner opposite Quinyon Mitchell. They've had about 4 guys spinning through the hallways down there. So I would expect Green Bay to go after whoever the corner is on their left. Love does a great job against man-to-man coverages. They use a lot of pre-snap motions. He and Matt LaFleur have a great game plan, and they let Love activate some hand signals that are designed to beat man-to-man coverage. Even though Philly's playing more man this year than they have in recent years, they got to be careful with some of these slot combination, trip combination hand signals that Jordan Love has the freedom to use. Vic Fangio and the Eagles use a lot of split safety coverages. It means it's a soft box. There's some really advantageous looks to run into. I think Green Bay's got to be patient, continue to pound the running game in there, and be willing to check the ball down and inch it down the field. Don't be searching for these deep plays. Get ultra aggressive and turn the football over. Not against the Eagles. Whether they get into the shotgun and use the RPO running game or get under the center, they got to pound these soft boxes, man, and they got to find out who this corner is on the left side of the offensive formation. There's been a lot of changes in the media guide over here for Philadelphia. So let's change it again by attacking down the field, throwing it to our left. The Philadelphia Eagles with Vic Fangio, man, they've had a lot of moving parts this year. A lot of players left after their Super Bowl championships for many different reasons. So it's been an ongoing cycle of change for Fangio and his defensive staff. They just got Nakobe Dean back, an outstanding linebacker who got hurt in the playoffs last year. They got to find a role for him. Jihad Campbell, their rookie first-round linebackers, really look good next to Zach Bond. What do we do now? How do we distribute those reps? Who are the edge rushers going to be? Now we got Jalen Phillips, Jalix Hunt, Nolan Smith. We got Uche in there. We got all kind of different players. Brandon Graham. Hell, Zaire Smith retired. We got Azeez Ojulari on IR. They've had 9 different edge rushers. They got to get into a rhythm and who these guys are going to be on the outside and who's going to be the corner. Are we going to move Cooper DeJean outside and move Michael Carter, our recent acquisition, inside? Or are we going to stay with DeJean in the slot in nickel and let some of these guys battle it out? Is Jair Alexander still the guy he was in Green Bay? Are we going to give him a chance? What are we doing at right corner? We got a lot of variables that still need to be solved. I do know this. Some of these guys that are competing to be the edge rushers of the Philadelphia Eagles, we need more pressure. We only got 4.5 sacks combined from guys coming off the edge. We've only got 16 sacks as a unit. And I know last week, well, we got 5 last week. I look at them. Sometimes you got to be honest with what you see from these sacks. Hell, the first sack last week, Dart scrambling around, and 3 guys tackle him for a 1-yard loss. That's really not a sack. The second sack was one of those bullshit RPOs. The quarterback pulled it out to throw the RPO. He wasn't open. He got killed. It really isn't a sack. The third sack, Dart held the ball for 27 seconds. That really isn't a sack. And then the fourth sack, number 48, Johnson, is unblocked, and it really leads to a clean-up, mop-up sack for Jalix Hunt. Then on the 5th sack, I don't know what the Giants' blocking scheme was, but the running back, he had to come cross-key. They screwed up the protection. I wasn't blown away with the 5 sacks. It wasn't like last year when Jalen Carter kicked the shit out of a right guard. It wasn't like last year when Josh Sweat ran right over an offensive tackle and Nolan Smith came spinning inside on a stunt. It wasn't like Reggie White and Seth Joyner and Clyde Simmons. No, it wasn't. And Jerome Brown. We got to get back to the freaking Eagles up front. I used to coach at Philadelphia, in Green Bay. I get a little excited for this game. The Eagles are more unpredictable, I think, in their coverages this year. They're playing a lot more man-to-man. Some games, Against the Giants, the first time they played quite a bit of man. Then they played the Giants the next time, it was quite a bit of zone. So they're spinning a dial, mixing it up pretty good. They could play more of a base defense in every situation with the return of Nakobe Dean. Think about it. They want to play a 3-4 defense. They could easily keep Ajomo, Davis, Carter up front on the D-line. They could put Campbell at one outside linebacker, Jalen Phillips at the other, and keep Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond inside. And these outside linebackers, they can walk out here and cover down on receivers. They can disrupt wideouts, set the edge. They can drop into curl or the flat. They might stay in a base defense against 12 or 11 personnel. I can't wait to see what Fangio does with some of these moving pieces. He's really an outstanding coach. The Eagles still have a very good pass defense. Most defensive coordinators that I know, and you should probably be aware of this yourselves, they really get into QBR. What's the QB rating? And if the QB rating is 100, your pass defense is the shits. If you're under 90, your pass defense is really good. When we won our Super Bowl, our QBR was like a world record. I mean, we did a hell of a job. Pass rush, coverage, getting interceptions. This year, the Eagles are still fourth in the league. Quarterbacks are only throwing for an 81 QBR. And they're third in the league. Quarterbacks only complete 59% of the passes. I love that. And they've only allowed 8 touchdown passes. That's second in the league. So they're still doing a lot of good things. But when you play for the Eagles on defense, there's a big difference between good and great. There's good burgers and great burgers. Good hotels, great hotels. There's good pass defense, good pass rushes, and great ones. And when you're talking about the Eagles, the #1 defense of the world champions, we want it to be great. So let's freaking go. Let's see the fourth quarter pass rush too. Remember, all championship football teams have a fourth quarter pass rush. I learned that from Bill Walsh when I was with the 49ers years ago. I can't wait to see Jordan Love in the fourth quarter behind in a 2-minute drill against the Philadelphia Eagles pass rush. I want to see Phillips. I want to see Nolan Smith. I want to see Brandon Graham, Carter, and Davis. I want to see these guys close it out. Ajomo, he's another guy I really like. Bottom line is, the Philadelphia defense, they got to create more negative plays, impact negative plays, turnovers, sacks, and stuffs. You know, the Eagles are almost last in the league in causing negative yardage running plays. 11%? Where's Jalen Carter? I thought Jordan Davis. I think these guys, get rid of that guy, make that tackle. I think we got to get more splash negative plays from this defense. Let's take a look at the matchups real quick on the offensive line. The Green Bay Packers have allowed 11 sacks. They've been solid. They got to pick up their run blocking, but Rasheed Walker at left tackle has started every game. They got issues at left guard. Aaron Banks, the ex-49er, he can't stay on the field. He was hurt in training camp. He pulled on a counter play last week and blew his stinger out. I don't know what that means, but he's come out of 3 games already. And I think it might be Sean Ryan starting at left guard. The center, Elton Jenkins, excellent player. Jordan Morgan, former first-round pick out of Arizona, has come in and taken over at right guard. And Zach Tom, finally healthy, has started the last 4 games. He's a very good right tackle. This is a good offensive line that's got to pick it up now because they're coming off a tough loss and the world champions are coming off a bye. For the Eagles, the guy I want to see do more is Jalen Carter. I know he's playing 85% of the snaps. He gets tired. It's been hot. People are double teaming him and whatnot. But he's only got 15 tackles. He's got 1 sack. Not a lot of splash. They need him to really jazz up his play, I think, inside for the Eagles. The other D tackle, Jordan Davis, he's had a career year. He's got 3 sacks. He's playing more snaps than he's ever played before. We've talked about his weight loss, his stamina, his hand usage. He's blocked kicks. Davis 90 and Carter 98. Those Bulldogs, let's freaking go. The other defensive tackle that's really been not talked about enough is Moro Ajomo. He wears number 97. He has 4 sacks this year. He leads the Eagles. You feel his get off, man. He comes off the rock. He's a physical player, more stout than you'd think against the run. But Jomo has really had a heck of a year. And on the edge, we expect Jalen Phillips, number 50 he will be wearing, to make an immediate impact. Phillips comes from Miami for a third-round pick. He played for Vic Fangio. Well, Fangio was a D coordinator in Miami. He can set the edge. He can rush the passer. He can play in space. Phillips is a guy that has had some Achilles injuries in 23 and 24. He's healthy now. He has a chance to really make a statement and answer a huge need for this Eagle defense. On the other side, I'm expecting to see Nolan Smith. He was a starter last year and played great in the playoffs en route to the World Championship. He wears number 3. I think Phillips and Smith will be 2 new starters for the Eagles in Lambeau. Jalix Hunt, 58, is still a work in progress. He started a lot of the games this year. He's been impressive at times, but he's still raw. He's still developing as a defensive end and as a critical pass rusher. I think they got to get Nolan Smith more of those turns. And where's Brandon Graham, the veteran, former number 1 pick team leader of this Eagle outfit? I would love to see him come in there as a pinch hitter and get 8 or 12 or 15 looks to get after the passer. I do think the big matchup is right here at left guard. I expect Jalen Carter to have a big role in there at left guard, and I can't wait to see these 2 new pass rushers against Zach Tom and Rasheed Walker. The tight ends we talked about enough. It's going to be Luke Musgrave, perhaps the new Josh Wiley, who comes from the practice squad via the Tennessee Titans. Could be John Fitzpatrick. But the safeties of the Eagles, they have Reed Blankenship, number 32. He's a real good, solid player. He eliminates deep plays. When you're deep, you're deep. He's a good eraser tackler. He's got some range on the back end. Makuba, number 24, the first-round pick out of Texas. He's got 2 picks. He's doing a better job, 37 tackles. He's just got to be more consistent. I mean, he blows a coverage against Tampa Bay. It turns into a 70-yard gain. You got to be reliable, down by down consistent, and bring some of that splashy playmaking to the table. But he's flickering, but he's got to become more consistent. Against Josh Jacobs, all linebackers are going to be on call. And the Philadelphia Eagles are lucky to have one of the best linebackers in football. Zach Bond, he surprised everybody last year coming over from New Orleans, and he's on a repeat tour this year. He leads the Eagles by far with 64 tackles. He's got a pick, a forced fumble, 3 sacks, 5 PBUs. He will not come off the field. Number 53 and Jacobs, number 8. There'll be some really great one-on-ones in the hole, one-on-ones in coverage. That'll be fun to watch. And Nakobe Dean is back. He's played a lot of snaps these last 2 games. Coming off the IR, he played 76% of the snaps the last 2 games. He's got 11 tackles, 1 TFL. What are they going to do with Jihad Campbell? They both can't play the same position at the same time. So I expect Campbell to play on the edge a little bit more. He could split time with Jalen Phillips on the outside. It'll be interesting to see how they deploy Campbell because he's had a hell of a year. He's got 45 tackles. He's got a sack. He's got a pick. He's a really good Philadelphia Eagle. And the matchups on the outside, everybody knows this. Quinyon Mitchell will be on the right side of the Green Bay Packer offense. He plays left corner for Philly. There are some situations where he'll play star coverage and go with the best receiver wherever he goes. But for the most part, he will be on the right side of the Green Bay Packer offense. I love Mitchell. Played at Toledo. Look at his numbers, man. He's an excellent tackler. His completion percentage on targets at him is just 47%. That's as good as there is in football. The QBR against him is 63. That's awesome. So if you're a Green Bay Packer and you want to throw at number 27, you might complete one, but it's going to be a real tight throw because the coverage is always right there. It's sticky, man. Where I would go is over here because it's been a revolving door. It started with the Dory Jackson. It went to Jacorian Bennett. All of a sudden, I see Ringo in there from Georgia. I'm not being negative with Ringo. He's got 24 tackles, but we got to go after him if we're the Packers. And I expect to see number 7, Ringo, get his number called quite a bit in this ball game. The Packer receivers, Romeo Doubs is the go-to guy. 34 catches, 440 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's by far and away the most consistent, reliable receiver. And keep an eye on Watson. I think if the Packers win this game, I think Christian Watson has 2 big catches down the field deep. This guy averaged 21.5 yards a catch last year. Shit, this year he's already got 6 catches for over 20 yards a pop. He is fast. He can run post patterns, timing comebacks. Last week they brought him in motion. He inserted right in the C gap and ran a deep cross. Whoo! Like that. This guy can really roll. I don't know what's going to happen in the slot for Green Bay, but Cooper DeJean, number 33, is a badass. He's been a shutout artist. Not a lot of people target DeJean inside. And I don't know who the slot receiver is going to be for Green Bay with all the injuries. Let's hope Matthew Golden can play. We need to see him arrive in prime time with his quarterback. Finally, will DeJean move out here? That's the big issue, I think, in Philly. He's such a good player. Should we move him outside and put Michael Carter, number 35, the guy we just acquired from the Jets, inside? Should we keep DeJean in here and put Jair Alexander, who was a 2-time Pro Bowler, out there and see what happens? Keep an eye on these matters. This is going to be a hell of a matchup. The Packers offense with a prime time QB like Jordan Love against the defense with a lot of moving parts. Okay, this young Philadelphia Eagle offense with their offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo goes up against this Packer defense led by Jeff Hafley. The Eagle offense is on the rise. Their last 2 games before the bye, as good as this Philadelphia Eagle offense has looked all year. And the Packer defense statistically is one of 3 teams that's in the top 10 in scoring defense, total defense, rushing defense, passing defense. But last week, Rico Dowdle and the Carolina Panthers dowdled into Green Bay and dusted them up, man, for about 150 yards rushing. So what gives this week? The Eagle offense, I really discovered something very cool. In the last 2 games, they're under the center more than I've ever seen Philadelphia since I was there back in the mid-90s, man. I mean, they play the New York Giants. 42% of the plays, Jalen Hurts is under the center. That's the most they've been under the center since 2021. I even looked it up. I got people working here, you know. And then the second most times they've been under the center since 2021 was the week before against the Vikings. They were under the center 41% of the time. So what are they doing? I think they're just getting away from all the shotgun runs, slow developing plays, trying to get under the center to accommodate the Saquon Barkley. Okay, take the RPOs out of it for just a second. Let's let our offensive line get some weight on their front hand, and let's come off the ball and run some duos and let Saquon Barkley generate some speed towards the line of scrimmage. Give him time to read his cuts. And if he bounces it outside, some of these corners, I wish you luck. But they did a great job getting underneath the center, slamming the ball. Watch the second play of the game against the Giants last week. They put in Fred Johnson. He's a tackle, number 74 at tight end. They just rocked the Giants, and Saquon was off for 65 yards. It also really enhances their play-action passing game. And if you like Devonta Smith, if you like A.J. Brown, and you like Saquon, what a great, beautiful thing it is to see a great fake after a couple really good runs and some down-the-field shots. It's a beautiful thing. The Eagles have been under the center since 2021, 14% of the time, period. I looked it up. I'm telling you. Over 40% the last 2 games. So that's a change. Therefore, Green Bay better put the big boy shoulder pads on and don't just worry about who has the quarterback and who's got the bubble screen. They better worry about big bodies in the hole because it's going to be a very physical game when Hurts gets underneath the center. Last week, the New York Giants came to Philadelphia And the Eagles put 277 yards rushing on the Giants. That's the most rushing against any team all season. They kicked New York's ass. They ran duos, G schemes. There's a thing called crack and replace. You know, when you're a receiver and the safety's inside and you go out there to block that safety, the corner has to replace. He's got to come up here and make some of these tackles. The Giants failed to do that. I don't know if it was so much great Philadelphia run game or horrible New York Giant run defense. It might have been a combination of the two. That's why the Eagles ran for 277, man, and their stats are right back where they used to be last year. I think Philadelphia watched Carolina come into Green Bay and pound the ball against these young defensive tackles of the Packers. I would think Philadelphia would do the same thing they did to the Giants a couple weeks ago. Put Fred Johnson, number 74 at tight end, and pound the young interior linemen of the Packers. I mean, when you look at them, they're young guys. Brooks is a young guy. This Nazir Stackhouse, hell, I don't know where he's from. Hell, Nazir Stackhouse is a rookie out of Georgia. You look over here, Devontae Wyatt, he hasn't played very much. He's been hurt. He just got back. Colby Wooden, they need to come out here, I think, and do what Carolina did. Get shoe to shoe, big bodies on big bodies, and see if they can't rock Green Bay off the ball. Short yardage and goal line, we know about the tush push. We said this a couple weeks ago when the Eagles were playing the Buccaneers. Don't just go up in there and sell out against the tush push. There is a contingency plan, and you saw what they did against the Bucs. They had a little design sweep that walked in for a touchdown. The Packers tried to abolish the tush push at the league meetings. The plays survived. So I think perhaps Nick Sirianni's standing over thinking, we're going to run the tush push on these guys just to piss them off. And I'm going to make them think we're running the tush push. They're going to be all upset because here we are running it, and we're going to have a contingency play. You heard it here again first at the FFCA. This is the top red zone offense in football. They've had 20 red zone trips. This Philadelphia Eagle offense, they've scored touchdowns on 85% of the trips. Why? Well, Dallas Goedert has 6 touchdown receptions. Jalen Hurts, 5 rushing touchdowns. Big threats on the outside with Smith and A.J. Brown. And they have a play we'll show you in a minute. We call it Pigeon. We previewed it the last game that worked again for another touchdown against the Giants. They have a very creative red zone offense, and they use all 5 eligible receivers and their quarterback as a runner and key component down there tight. The Eagles use a no-huddle offense about 20% of the time. If you recall, they played the Rams earlier this season. It was an ugly first half, but they came out in the second half. They jumped into a no-huddle offense, and the Eagle offense took off. Since then, they've still used parts of the no-huddle offense to change speeds, so the Packers got to be ready for that. It is a very good tool for this Eagle offense that Jalen Hurts is comfortable with. With A.J. Brown healthy, we can never overlook the impact that number 11 has on a defense. He's one of the best 50-50 ball receivers in football, very strong, very physical, and hard to tackle. And Devonta Smith is red hot. He was quiet in his first 4 games. He only had 158 yards. But in his last 4 games, he's got 430 yards. He is hot, man. So if you load the box up and you try to stop the run, good God, you're really vulnerable on the outside to 2 of the best big play receivers in football. Last, I think the Eagles got to be very leery of Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary. Don't just get all wired in on Parsons because you remember him and all his sacks from Dallas. Rashawn Gary's got 7.5, and Parsons has 6.5. They have 2 guys now that can raise hell. Philadelphia has used a lot of scat protection. They've left Mailata. They've left Lane Johnson in one-on-ones before quite a bit. But be very careful against these 2 outstanding Packer rushers. Over here for the Packer defense led by Jeff Hafley, I can just imagine what they're doing in their meetings. These Packers got to respond. Last week was a disappointment, but it's not the end of the world. We're 5-2-1. We got the world champions coming to our house in prime time. Let's get after their ass. Let's get our pads down. Let's bring our A game. collectively to the Eagles. The Packers do have some concerns, I think, in their secondary. They lost Nate Hobbs. Hobbs was brought in from the Raiders to be the corner. Now, he's out, so they are really lacking depth on the outside, and Hobbs was a guy that was a very good nickel corner backing up Javon Bullard. So if the Packers get one more injury to any of these corners, they got a lot of inexperience. Bo Melton, he was a converted wide receiver in training camp. They got some other guy, number 36 over here. I'm still learning his name. So they don't want to get another guy hurt. The Packers don't blitz a lot, just 19% of the time. But what I do love about the blitzes they run, they get home. They're very good at what they do. And I would expect that Hafley has a couple really good pressure packages for Jalen Hurts because the Philadelphia offensive line has struggled. They've given up 39% pressure this year. So I think there are some spots for some blitzes to get Gary and Parsons a one-on-one and to get after Jalen Hurts in this offensive line who might be playing with a backup center. The key to the Packers, I think, has been their effort and their tackling. This is a very good tackling team and a very good gang tackling team. And the best gang tackling teams are the best effort teams. But Green Bay is leading the NFL. Just 4.2 yards after the catch. Yak, yards after the catch, it's the lowest in the league against the Packers. These guys rally to the ball, they're all functional tacklers, and they get people on the ground. I'm anxious to see the run defense of the Packers. I think they got punched in the mouth last week. It'll be very interesting to see how they respond. Do they put the pads on? Do they go out on the practice field and get some live work in against some of their offensive linemen? Because they really need to get their running game going on offense and their run defense. They need to get that resolved from last week's outcome against the Panthers. Green Bay's got to beware every time they get into a single high defense. As soon as you bring McKinney down in the box and Evan Williams rolls back to the post, you're vulnerable out here with A.J. Brown and you're vulnerable with Devontae Smith. So you're going to see a lot of delays in the snap count. You'll see a lot of kill from run to pass and pass to run as they try to negotiate, is it single high or is it split safety looks. Finally, they got to be very disciplined with their rush. You cannot let Hurts break contain or he'll do a number on you scrambling for first downs and touchdowns and long passes. They got to contain the pocket. I thought Denver did as good as anybody keeping Hurts in the pocket and making him throw the ball under duress. Do not let him escape. Let's have some safe calls. What is a safe call? Well, your linebacker realizes the Eagles are jumping the ball in a no-huddle offense. You don't have time to listen to the coach. You just make the call yourself. Hey, over zone to Y, under China. You got to make these calls quick when they go fast. Get your cleats in the ground, get your pads down, and let's go. Otherwise, they will rock you. You ever heard that song? We will rock you. I guarantee you they will rock you if you ain't ready for them. Let's take a look at the matchups. This Philadelphia Eagle offensive line, as decorated as they are, they have had a lot of injuries, missed practice time. Jordan Mailata is as good as there is at left tackle, but he missed a lot of training camp. He's been beat up, and he's talked about it throughout the season. Landon Dickerson, he's missed time with knee injuries. He's back in the lineup, and I think the bye week probably did those two guys as much good as anybody. Cam Jurgens, their starting center, didn't play last week, probably won't play this week. But Brett Toth, number 64, I think he did a hell of a job last week. Hell, I started seeing him pull on some of these G schemes. I thought it was Jurgens himself. This offensive line coach, Jeff Stoutland, deserves a lot of credit. The right guard is Tyler Steen. First year as a full-time starter. He's gotten better and better. And Lane Johnson, number 65, he started every week, but he has had some stingers. Still a premier right tackle. This is a great group, but they got to play better, I think, down the stretch. Hopefully this bye week has helped them get a little bit healthier. For the Green Bay Packers, we all know they have Rashawn Gary, who's got 7.5 sacks, 27 pressures. Micah Parsons, 44 pressures, 6.5 sacks, all this good stuff. But who's it going to be inside? I want everybody to keep an eye on number 95, Devontae Wyatt. What's it gonna be? The guy's a first-round pick. He flickers, man. There's games I say, whoa, I love this guy. Then he disappears. Then he comes back, and last week I didn't feel him. He has 2 sacks. He's got a lot of talent, but he's got to respond, man, this week against the Philadelphia Eagles. He's got to go in here against Dickerson and Steen and have an impact on this game. Young defensive tackle Nazir Stackhouse, number 93. Boy, he looks the part. He's got to be the part this week in the trenches on the nose. Carl Brooks, number 94. He's a very talented guy. He's got some pass rush. He's got twitch. But he's going to have to do the dirty stuff this week against the run. Remember, Kenny Clark got traded to Dallas. Some of these youngsters are counted on to step up. Colby Wooden, he's a guy I really like. But these young Packers, Barron Sorrell, I don't know, they got Brinson in here. All these young Packers, they got to seize this opportunity in prime time because they're going to be challenged by the best. The tight end for the Eagles is Dallas Goedert. Here's another guy that had a lot of distraction in the offseason. There were rumors he wanted to be traded. Thank God they kept him. He can block the C gap, the A gap, the B gap, the C gap. He can block defensive ends and outside linebackers. You see him at the point of attack. He's the second leading receiver. He's got 7 touchdown catches, 6 of them in the red zone. I mean, this guy's a go-to guy for Hurts. And last year in the playoff victory in Philly, he was like Rocky Balboa. Boom, boom. He stiff-armed 3 Packers to pay dirt. He's a hell of a player, number 88, Goddard. And Grant Calcaterra, number 81, is back. He's a big part of their run game. He can pull and cross-sift. He's a functional receiver. And don't forget Fred Johnson, number 74. He's going to check in. And they don't just run the ball when he's in here. They'll fake the ball and get some good, nasty play-action passes. Sometimes I'm convinced Patullo, he tries to bait everybody into thinking it's a run by putting 6 offensive linemen in there just to get a one-on-one to Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown. So keep an eye on that. The 2 safeties for the Packers, they're led by Xavier McKinney. What a player he is. Ex-New York Giant. He had 8 picks last year. I'm watching a Carolina game. The guy gets a pick. He gets an interception. I'm thinking, how many has he got? Well, he's got 2 this year. Then he forces a fumble. And you know what? Then he comes out there and he gets a sack in the same game. The last time a Packer safety had a sack, interception, and a forced fumble in the same game, I was thinking it had to be Leroy Butler, but it was Morgan Burnett. Bottom line is, this guy's a badass. Number 29, McKinney against Goddard. God, I love that. And then the free safety, second-year man Evan Williams. He missed a tackle on a perimeter play last week. Bad run fit. Another time he was in the box playing man-to-man. He chased the tight end. The Packers blew another run fit. He's a good player. He's got 51 tackles and a pick. But when he gets down in the box, when you're a safety and you come down in the box, everybody's got to be dialed in, man, because one bad fit, and it's a home run against Saquon Barkley. The matchups on the outside, to me, are the biggest concern for the Packers. Great receivers. I don't care what you say. I know A.J. Brown, there were rumors he wanted to be traded. He's not getting the ball enough. He's still a badass. He's got 400 yards. He's still capable, ask the Vikings, of just destroying you. He killed the Vikings with 2 bombs down the field. But when you have Keyshawn Nixon over here on the right side of the Eagles, he's had some good years. But right now, he's second in the league. He's got 7 penalties. He's given up a few touchdowns. 3 straight weeks I saw a touchdown against him in coverage. And I got a feeling Philadelphia is going to turn up the heat with Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is not a good route runner. He's a great route runner. And he is hot right now. So keep an eye on that matchup, Nixon and Smith. And over here, Carrington Valentine filling in for Nate Hobbs. That's an advantage to A.J. Brown. They love to get in trips formations and isolate Brown one-on-one with a number of hand signals, and he is fresh. Coming off a bye, I heard the hamstring is healthy. In the slot, Jahan Dotson. He's only got 8 catches. Usually, when they throw the ball in the slot, they put Devontae Smith in the slot. Devontae Smith has caught 25 passes in the slot, man. But Dotson is the third receiver. He'll do some clear outs. He'll do some blocking. He has 8 catches for 150 yards. But it's these two guys on the outside, Brown and Smith, and Dallas Goedert, that the Eagles rely on. The slot corner for Green Bay is one of the top players on this defense. Javon Bullard, another Georgia Bulldog. He wears number 20. He is a very athletic, instinctive, tough defender. Good against the pass and also a very good run defender. He gets off blocks and he's not afraid to go in and get after some of these big-time backs. Don't forget Tank Bigsby. Tank Bigsby is the complimentary back to Saquon Barkley. Howie Roseman traded for Bigsby a few weeks ago, the ex-Jacksonville Jaguar. He comes in last week when Saquon gets hurt, and Bigsby has 100 yards and 9 carries. And I tell you, my dad was a running back coach. This guy Bigsby, he got ahead of Will Shipley. He got ahead of A.J. Dillon because of the way he practices. He's explosive. He goes out in the drills. He finishes his runs. People are looking at him going, damn, let's give him a shot. So as soon as Saquon got nicked up, hey, Bigsby, get in there. And he got people off the bench, man. This guy runs hard. It's a credit to him. This is going to be a real challenge for Green Bay. Do they match up on the outside well enough? Can these young interior defenders bring it up a notch from what they did last week? This is going to be a real fist fight. I can't wait to see it. This Philadelphia Eagle run game last week, 277 yards. How'd they do it? Well, they put Fred Johnson, an offensive lineman, in there at tight end, and they said, you go block that defensive end. And then they used Lane Johnson. They used Steen, their right guard. They got a freeze double team to the onside backer, and they got movement. And then the center, Toth, the left guard, Dickerson, they doubled up to the backside linebacker. Mailata cut it off. Heck, Saquon pressed it, he bounced it outside, and guess what? It was one-on-one with a corner, and it was a 65-yard touchdown run. Good luck. The other thing they can do is get back into shotgun, and they can run their G scheme. They can use their tight end, Dallas Goedert, at the point of attack. Like I said, he doesn't just catch passes. He can block these head-up 6 techniques. They use their guard to reach some of these heavy shades. Steen does a nice job of that, and you see Lane Johnson pull and trap the corner. And then you see the center, Toth. He comes around here, right around that block by Goedert. He blocks the onside linebacker. Saquon's standing right next to Hurts. And he's in the shock, and he just turns his body like this, and Hurts puts the ball in his stomach. Off he goes for 28 more yards. They get great backside cutoff blocks from Mailata and Dickerson. Whoa, it's a beautiful thing. And then they get you in short yardage. They get down in the red zone like they did against the Giants. They run that play I call 15 pigeon. Hurts is going to hand the ball to Barkley. He's going to catch that ball and put it in Saquon's chest and hand it to him. But while he's doing it, he's reading that defensive end. If that defensive end closes because the tackle and the guard are blocking the linebacker, if he chases down here flat, Hurts pulls it. And he's going to keep it, and now the party is started. Because what they do before the snap is they fly Dotson across the formation, and he takes his nickel corner with him who's covering him. And then they use Devonta Smith. They cut his split just a little bit. He's getting man coverage from this corner. He drives down in here, and he just hesitates a little bit because he knows his partner, Dallas Goedert, who's being covered by this strong safety, is sliding across the formation. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to look for this guy coming across. I don't like to say I'm going to pick him, but I'm going to pick that guy. And then I'll take off to the corner so it looks like I'm running a delayed cut corner. And this pick play frees Goedert, who catches the ball and walks in for a touchdown. Quarterback can hand it to Barkley. He can keep it himself, or he can throw it to Goedert, or he could pop it up late. This play is killing defenses, and nobody does it like the Philadelphia Eagles. This is one of the great games of the year. I love the Packers, man. I spent 3 years there. I spent 3 years in Philly. I'm going with the Eagles, man. The Eagles go into Lambeau. Look at this helmet. Woo! They go in there 27-23, Eagles.